Hey guys, Ryan, what problems do you have with operating the show file or opening? It could be that your software version is lower than mine. Mine is on, let me check, or the file got saved in version 3.7.0.5. Uh, Yeah. Well, we're gonna start off with Reaper. If you looked into my description, there are all links from all the softwares I'm using and which one you will be needing, such as Reaper, Loop B1, which is a tool that just loops the internal signal and you can route it to the MA console from Reaper. Everything I'll be doing is turn off my mic. Let me check. Is it better now? I turn it up a little bit or all the way. So now it should be louder. Let's hope. Is it better now, Yolan? All right, let's start off. So the first thing you want to do is you just open up Reaper, which will be starting off like this. There's nothing in here. If you open up the Reaper file from my Dropbox, there will be already a song in it, a timecode generator, so you can start off right away. But I'm gonna show you first how to set it up, so everyone will be able to set it up. First thing you want to do is to get in a timecode generator. Uh, that's pretty important, so MA knows on which timestamps you are. That will be the important signal for the MA to listen to. If you have that in, what you want to do is you route it to the loop B internal MIDI device. That way you can receive it right away from in MA. And what you also want to do is you set the generator to MIDI instead of LTC. Otherwise, if you have it on LTC, there will be a pretty shitty sound, so you don't want to have that. So you set it on MIDI. If you replay it now, it's gone. You will be having a quiet timecode signal. I always set it on 0, so it starts off on 0. The next thing that you want to do is you insert a timecode track or a music track, not a timecode track. Let's select the one we will be using later. So what I do most of the time, or how I deal with it, is I'll set it to 5 seconds, the song. So I have 5 seconds for example, to put all my positions into place. So I have like a cue sitting over here, which you can mark with Shift and M. Then pop up. You will get a pop up. Then you can name it start. That will be your first marker. If you play it, it works. So now let's check out MA. Let's put it quiet. So let's go over to MA. What you want to do in MA to set things up is you click the yellow button in the left top. You go to options, you choose MIDI. MIDI in device, you have to select the loop B internal MIDI device. This way you will receive timecode. Let's clear that out. So you want to create a window with your timecode pool, your timecode slot, and also your timecode view, which needs a bit more. So now if I replay the track, you can see in MA, you can see over here there is a signal incoming, which is on timecode slot 2. What you want to do is you click the timecode pool item, you click on edit timecode, you click the yellow button on the left top corner, you select slot, and then you select the timecode slot that you are getting your signal from, and this way everything should work now. You can see my cue list is doing something. Also pretty important to play the timecode track. So if you click the pool item, you can either stop it, you can play it, or you can record it if you want to record some extra cues later. So for the people that want, there are two different ways to record your timecode. Number one is what I used to do, just by playing the music, creating a cue list with, let's 1 through 10. So now you will hear a track if I put it up a little bit more. I hope the sound quality is good. So now I can choose to record. So now if we go back on Reaper and in MA we click on play, now the cue list will start to play as you recorded it. So let's wait for it. Alright, what happened with the file? Why is it working now? Do you know what went wrong? Alright, so now the executor started with the first 3 cues in exactly the timing that I recorded it, but we're not gonna need that. That's a way. So I'm not really a fan of doing this way. I used to do it. It takes up a lot of time, and yeah, it's not really practical. So what I do is I'll go through the timecode track. I'll just mark my cues inside of the track. which the perfect way is to make it as big as possible. You zoom in, you off the snapping tool, and you drag your cues where they need to be. You just set a lot of markers, you can name them, and that goes through the whole song, and then later you end up like this. So I have over here 62 markers, which will be later my cues. That's exactly the file you got in my Dropbox. That will be the one you can use with the cue list that is already stored. There is one tool I will be that you can download. You need to buy it. It's 60 euros, I think. It's worth every cent of it. It's called of course timecode export. I will be dropping the link into the comments. Let me search for it. Alright, there it is. So in the comment section you can see a link. That's a link for the tool I will be going through now, which is pretty helpful. You need to do a few things. Let me find them where they are. You have to set your time unit to hours, minutes, seconds, and frames, which you can see inside of the on the view. It's down here. Then once you've marked all your markers or your cues and also name them, you can go into view. You open up region marker manager. That will give you a list of all your markers with the ID, the name of it, and the timestamp. What you want to do is you export it. You need to export it in a CSV file. Let's call it test. So now what you're gonna do is you open up your the tool, which you will see in a second. Alright, there you go. So you want to start off with an empty sequence number, which in this case we choose 10. You want to use you want to search for an empty executor number as well. So we go to page 2.1, which will be the executor number 1. Frames per second you will leave. Timecode number will be 10 in this case as well. You can put a name in it. Now you're gonna load the file that we just created. There you go. So that will load in all the cues with ID, and timestamps and the names as well. And then there are two ways you can connect straight to MA2, which for this case in MA2 you need to have Telenet enabled, and you also need to be in the setup on internal, otherwise it won't work. And the other option is to generate the files, which you will get a macro that imports everything. Everything has to be set up. I have mine set up a bit wrong at the moment because I used to help out a friend of mine, and I needed them in my download folder to send it to him. And once that's done, you click either generate files or connect to MA, and this way you will get you will get this you will get a sequence, as you can see here. There will be a sequence 1 with the with all the cues in there, and you will also get a timecode pool item with all the timings and names when it has to be triggered. And that's basically, and it also assigns it to the executor that you choose to, or where you want it to. And this way you can start off right away with filling up your queues. What I do is I have a few like this. I will go through my queues. I can create effects over here. I will store them into my queue list, or for some things I use extra executors with Q1 through 5. Let's say with a timing. If you want to have something like a drum roll or anything else, whatever. And then you can say in your main queue list on voice go 1 dot, let me check which number it is, 101. So now if you play back your track,
revolution is close and they
loud. Let's do it again. And now on, as soon as Q2 happens, it will also trigger my executor 101, which later on, as soon as I don't need them, or if it's just something that is temporary, I set the last queue on release. In this way it will just be turned off. So this is probably all you need to know to start with timecode. Now it's just filling up your queue list. Most of the time it's pretty slow, but most of the time I just play back like 1 to 5 queues. I just listen to what I hear and when the queues are happening, and then I fill them up, I replay it, I change my timings, and this way I'll try to make it as perfect for the music as possible. Then the quality is bad. Let me check on my phone if it is my internet connection or if it's yours. I have a pretty shitty internet over here in Austria at my parents. We live on the countryside, and yeah, as people know, there is pretty shitty internet connection on the countrysides because they don't care about the people over there, probably. So I checked it on my phone. On my phone, it looks good. Then it might be your internet connection. I'm sorry. Cultura, useful tool, definitely. Yeah, it is pretty useful. I tried out the trial version, which just gives you a few cues and you can run it. I don't know. I think 10 times or something. I'm not sure. Um, I really liked the idea of it because yeah, creating a whole cue list and then record it takes a lot of time, I think. And if you mark your queues in Reaper, it will give you the possibility to go as close as possible to a kick hit or to snare hit or whatever you want to highlight or set a cue. So that's pretty useful. And then once everything is done, you get a big cue list, which this one is a pretty easy one. It's just 62 cues. So yeah, it saves a lot of time. I don't regret the money on it. Also, the guy that is um, putting it out or developed it, anytime you have an issue with the with starting it or with importing anything, if you send him an email, you get an answer within 10 minutes. I did that at 2 in the morning. Or I had some issues with my internet. It's still on.